In a world where manga is published weekly, one of the hardest tasks that mangaka have is to create interesting and compelling characters and flesh them out. And I see this as a big issue in a lot of weekly manga. In general, weekly mangas have to move very fast in order to catch their deadlines. So a lot of mangakas have to balance between storytelling, character building, and action as so they don't lose their readers. Character writing is one of the most important aspects when it comes to storytelling. And for weekly mangas, it might be difficult at times to really flesh out characters, especially when it comes to villains. But one of the best tools that is exclusive to comics or manga is visual storytelling, and one of the best examples of this is Kakashi versus Obito. Now, I am a huge fan of Naruto, but when it came to Obito, I really didn't think he stacked up to the other villains of Naruto like Orochimaru, Itachi, Pain, or Madara. And when they revealed Obito to be the main villain of Naruto, there was only 101 chapters left of the manga. So Kishimoto had his work cut out for him, and he really didn't have much time to characterize Obito. But then he gave us Kakashi versus Obito. And Kishimoto laid the groundwork for this fight, but it was the anime and the people at Studio Pierrot that really took this fight to the next level. So the entire series, Kakashi has always talked about Obito and what a light he was in his life. And now for the first time, he sees Obito face to face, and Obito no longer represents all the things that Kakashi took pride in. And Kakashi has to come to terms with the fact that Obito is no longer who he used to be when they were kids. And the anime had to convey all of these feelings, emotions, and changes in one fight. And the anime delivered in ways that no one could have expected. Naruto Shippuden episode 375 is one of the best episodes in all of Naruto, and is one of the best fights in terms of hand-to-hand combat in any anime I've ever seen. The animation and art of this episode is incredible. You can actually even see where the animation starts to change in this episode. The scene opens up with Kakashi and Obito stabbing through each other, and there's so much detail you can actually see the reflection of themselves on the blood that is splattering everywhere. But it turns out that it's just a genjutsu, and you see Kakashi and Obito talking one last time before they begin their fight. Kakashi states that there is nothing he can do to change Obito, and that he has given up on him completely, and that the only thing he can provide for Obito is death. And before they begin their fight, both Obito and Kakashi perform the ram hand signal. And this begins the visual storytelling that made this fight so impactful. So the ram hand sign usually means power in the Naruto universe, and by both performing this hand sign, Kakashi and Obito acknowledge their past and the weight of this upcoming fight, and highlighting their shared history as members of Team Minato. And then the anime transitions to a younger Obito and Kakashi, both performing the same hand signal during one of their sparring training matches. And then in that flashback, as soon as Minato says begin, both the current Obito and Kakashi run towards each other to fight their last decisive battle. And for the first part of this fight, there is no music, it's just hand-to-hand combat. This creates a serious tone for this fight. Neither Kakashi or Obito are talking to one another, they are just focused on fighting. And the anime keeps going back and forth between the fight that they had when they were children to the fight that they're having currently. And amazingly enough, they are recreating the same exact fight that they had all those years ago. And through this choreography, the audience can see how connected these two characters really are, and how well they know each other. And during this fight, when Kakashi pulls out this kunai, it mirrors the exact movement that he made all those years ago, and Obito, knowing this, is able to counter Kakashi with his own blades. And because of this, Kakashi has to adapt as well, and that leads to that beautiful move where Kakashi kicks the kunai at Obito. And this fight is just incredible because in these short seconds where you see both Obito and Kakashi adapting to one another, it tells a bigger story here. That with all their shared history and experience going on missions together, that they know each other very well. And that the key to this fight is adapting to each other's past behaviors and anticipating what they're going to do next based on all the data you have on that person. The OST they're playing in the background is beautiful, and it's beautifully titled, A Scene of Disaster. This song creates the atmosphere for this fight, that there are no real winners here because it is two friends fighting to the death. And we as the audience have no choice but to watch as this fight unfolds. And during this fight, you see Kakashi's expression. He looks very melancholic. as this fight brings a lot of grief to Kakashi. He doesn't want to kill his friend, and he is having a hard time dealing with the fact that the Obito he loved is no longer there. While Obito, on the other hand, is smiling and enjoying this fight, as he has given up on this world and on Kakashi. And all of this was conveyed without a single word being spoken. And the choreography for this fight is some of the best Naruto has ever produced. It is not only hard to watch these two friends go at it, it is beautiful at the same time. Just like their relationship used to be when they were kids. And as these two clash kunais, they flash between their younger self and their current self, and the expressions that these two characters have are very different. In their first fight when they're kids, there is no hostility or anger in their face. They're really just competing with each other to see who's the best. But flash forward to their current self, you see the pain in Kakashi's face as he is clashing with his former friend. And you see that Obito is fighting with the intent to kill. I really love the scene where Obito creates a balloon with a kunai and part of his clothes to trick Kakashi that he is coming from that direction, because he knows Kakashi is very perceptive and he is using that against him. And also at the same time, Kakashi predicts that Obito would do something like this and keeps a lightning shadow clone underground just in case. Both these fighters are operating at a very high technical level and are constantly outdoing one another. And my favorite scene of this entire fight is when the anime flashes back to their first fight and you see that Kakashi has beat Obito. Minato then declares Kakashi the winner and asks them both to perform the unison sign. And as the old Obito is reaching out to perform the unison sign, the current Obito pulls him back. And it's a beautiful visual metaphor for where these two characters are currently at. Kakashi and Obito are no longer the children they used to be, and the peace that Obito extended in the past is no longer there. And Obito pulling back his younger self is him rejecting the past and what he used to be, as he forges ahead to kill Kakashi. And Kakashi also recognizes that they can no longer go back to the way things used to be. So as both Kakashi and Obito stab each other, it represents them both severing the bonds they once had when they were children and facing the current reality. Obito is no longer the person Kakashi once remembered fondly, and Kakashi is the one who couldn't keep his promise to Obito and protect Rin. And all of this was communicated through this fight without any need for words. Truly a masterpiece in visual storytelling.